Welcome back to Weightless Productivity. Today, we're diving into the deceptively simple world of the follow-up.
Okay.
You know that feeling when someone reaches out at the perfect time? Like they knew you were just about to drop the ball?
Right.
Knowing exactly when to nudge things along without becoming a micromanaging nightmare.
Yeah, it's about walking that tightrope between staying on top of things and giving people the space to do their best work.
And to help us master this delicate dance,
Yeah.
we're unpacking a technique gleaned from a Fortune 500 CEO.
The beauty of this system is that it's specifically designed for those tasks that aren't time sensitive,
Right.
but could easily slip through the cracks if you're not careful.
So we're not talking about your urgent to-dos. Think more like waiting on a contractor's bid for a home project.
Sure.
Or that draft article from a colleague that's due.
Sometime next month.
Precisely.
Okay.
It's for those commitments where you don't need to be breathing down someone's neck,
Right.
but you also can't afford to let them completely disappear from your radar.
Okay, so how does this magical folder actually work? Let's say a contractor emails you agreeing to send over that bid.
Okay.
What's the first step?
It all starts with a simple trick. When you reply to thank the contractor, BCC yourself on that email.
Sneaky.
Yeah.
So now you have a copy lurking in your inbox like a little reminder gremlin.
Exactly. Think of it as a tickler file that gently nudges you.
And this is where the follow-up folder comes in.
You got it. Move that BCC'd email from your inbox into your designated follow-up folder.
Okay.
Then you simply schedule a daily check-in with this folder.
Got it.
Even a quick glance can be enough.
So it's like a mini audit of those lingering commitments.
But without the stress of a full-blown project review.
Right.
But won't my inbox still be cluttered just with these BCC emails instead?
That's a smart question.
Yeah.
And that's why that daily check-in and that dedicated folder are crucial.
Okay.
Remember, we're aiming for inbox 0 at least once a day.
Right.
And for a sense of digital serenity overall, the key is moving those BCCs into their holding space.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It keeps them on your radar without them screaming for attention alongside your truly urgent messages.
Right.
So how often do you actually follow up with someone from this folder?
There's no magic formula.
Okay.
It depends on the task,
Right.
your relationship with the person, and a good dose of intuition.
Okay.
Remember, we're aiming for surgical responsiveness,
Right.
not nagging.
It's about being mindful of people's time.
Yeah.
I'm guessing wording those follow-up emails is key too.
Absolutely.
Like how do you nudge without being a nudge?
That's where the art of follow-up etiquette comes in.
Okay.
We'll dive deeper into that in just a bit.
Okay.
But the short answer is assume good intent,
Got it.
keep it brief, and offer your help.
Okay, so I'm sold on the concept.
Okay.
Are there ever times when this system falls flat?
There are definitely potential pitfalls,
Okay.
and sometimes the follow-up folder can backfire if it's not used correctly.
When does the folder fail?
One of the biggest dangers is letting it become a procrastination black hole. It's tempting to just keep shoving things in there and telling yourself you'll deal with them later.
Right?
But then the folder becomes this overwhelming monster that you avoid at all costs.
Okay, so the key is being selective about what goes in there.
Absolutely.
Right. It's not a dumping ground for every email that makes you feel vaguely uneasy.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's for genuine follow-ups.
Right.
Not just things you're hoping will magically resolve themselves.
Yeah.
You've got to be disciplined and make sure you're actually taking action on those emails, not just letting them pile up.
So how do you prevent the folder from becoming that monster under the bed?
One red flag is if your follow-up folder starts to feel overwhelming, it's probably a sign that it's become too cluttered or that you're not using it effectively.
So it's not about creating a massive backlog of tasks.
Right.
I guess it's similar to how a to-do list can be helpful if it's short and focused, but it becomes a source of stress if it's a mile long and never ending.
Exactly. The follow-up folder is all about finding that sweet spot, keeping those commitments on your radar, and it's about understanding that it's not a static system. It's something you need to continually adapt and refine as your needs and workflow change.
How do we make this folder work for us in the real world?
All right. It all comes down to finding that balance between assertiveness and respect. Remember, you're not chasing down late assignments. You're gently keeping things moving.
Okay, so let's break it down. Let's say I've got that email from the contractor about the bid sitting in my follow-up folder. How do I approach that first follow-up email?
First, ditch the tip. Just checking in. It can come across as a bit passive-aggressive. Instead, start by acknowledging that you understand they're busy and that you're not trying to micromanage them. A simple, I know you've got a lot on your plate, can go a long way in setting the right tone.
That's a great tip. It takes the pressure off and makes it feel more like a collaboration.
Exactly. Then simply reiterate the original request and ask if there are any updates. You could say something like, just wanted to see if you'd had a chance to finalize that bid yet. No rush, just wanted to check in. And sometimes a phone call can be more effective than an email, especially if it's a more complex issue or if you're sensing some hesitation on the other person's part. A quick conversation can often clear up any misunderstandings and get things back on track.
That makes sense. But what about those situations where the follow-up folder might not be the best solution? Like if something is super time sensitive, this whole system feels a bit too relaxed.
You're right. The follow-up folder is not for your mission-critical drop-everything tasks. Those need to live on your calendar or in your project management system where they'll get your immediate attention.
So this is more about those things that could fall through the cracks but aren't going to derail your entire week if they're delayed a bit.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this all fits together. It's not about rigidly adhering to one system. It's about having a toolkit of strategies and knowing when to use each one.
Precisely. And I think that's a key element of achieving that digital serenity we talk about. It's about having systems in place that work for you, not against you.
Right, so I'm starting to get this, but I can imagine some of our listeners who are super organized might be wondering, if I'm already using a killer project management system and I'm religious about my to-do list, do I really need this folder too?
That's a fair question. And the answer is, it depends. If your current system is working flawlessly and you never feel like things are slipping through the cracks, then maybe the follow-up folder is overkill.
But if you find yourself with that nagging feeling of, wait, did I forget to follow up on that? Then this folder can be a game changer. It's like a safety net for those commitments that might otherwise slip your mind.
And it can also be a great way to delegate more effectively. Because let's be honest, one of the biggest reasons people hesitate to delegate is the fear that things will fall through the crack. But the follow-up folder can provide that peace of mind. You can assign a task BCC yourself on the confirmation email and then trust that the folder will remind you to follow up at the appropriate time.
So it's not about being a control freak. It's about having a system in place that allows you to let go and trust the process.
Exactly. And that trust can be incredibly liberating, both for you and for the people you're working with. It creates a more collaborative and empowered work environment.
I love that. So it sounds like this folder is not just a productivity tool, it's also a relationship tool. It helps you to build stronger connections with the people you work with by demonstrating reliability and respect.
That's a great insight. And I think it speaks to the fact that productivity is not just about getting things done. It's about creating a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
And sometimes that means letting go of control and trusting others to do their part. Now, one thing I'm still a bit fuzzy on. How does this tie into the idea of inbox zero?
While achieving true inbox zero might be a bit of a moving target, the follow-up folder can definitely help you get closer.
Because just the act of moving those BCC'd emails out of your main inbox creates a sense of spaciousness and calm.
Exactly. It reduces that feeling of visual clutter and allows you to focus on the messages that truly require your immediate attention.
It's like clearing off your desk before starting a big project. You create a space for clarity and focus. And on a practical level, it also helps you to avoid missing important messages because you're not wading through a sea of emails that you've already mentally filed away.
Right. It's about being intentional with your attention and making sure you're not wasting mental energy on things that can be handled later.
Okay, I'm totally on board with this now. But I have to admit, I can be a bit forgetful sometimes.
Yeah.
What are some tips for actually remembering to check the follow-up folder regularly? It would be pretty ironic if the system designed to prevent things from falling through the cracks ended up being the thing that gets neglected.
Schedule a specific time each day to review your folder. It could be first thing in the morning, right before you leave work, or even during your lunch break. The important thing is to choose a time that works for you and to stick to it as consistently as possible.
Make it a non-negotiable part of your routine.
Exactly. You can even set a reminder on your phone or computer to give you a little nudge. And remember, it doesn't have to take a lot of time. Even a quick 5-minute scan of your folder each day can be enough to keep things moving and to prevent anything from falling through the cracks. There's no right or wrong way to use a follow-up folder. The important thing is that it helps you to achieve that sense of digital serenity we're all striving for. And it also gives you a clear record of your communication.
Oh.
So if you need to escalate the issue or loop in other people, you have a trail of evidence to support your case. And it also helps you to avoid feeling like you're constantly nagging people, because you know that the request is safely tucked away in your follow-up folder, and you'll be reminded to follow up again at the appropriate time.
So it takes the pressure off you and allows you to focus on other things.
Exactly. And who knows, maybe that person will eventually respond to your initial request. People get busy, things slip their minds. The follow-up folder simply ensures that those requests don't get lost in the shuffle.
So for our listeners who are ready to embrace the follow-up folder and experience those benefits, what's the one piece of advice you'd leave them with?
I'd say this: start small and be patient with yourself. Don't try to overhaul your entire workflow overnight. Just create that folder. Practice the BCC habit and see how it feels. And remember, it's not about being perfect, it's about making progress. Even if you miss a day or two of checking your folder, don't beat yourself up about it. Just get back on track and keep moving forward.
That's such an important reminder. Productivity is a journey, not a destination.
It is, and the follow-up folder is simply a tool that can help you along the way.
Well said. And for our listeners who want to dive even deeper into the world of weightless productivity, don't forget to check out our website at weightlessproductivity.com. And be sure to subscribe to our newsletter for exclusive tips and insights on achieving inbox zero and living a more fulfilling life.
We'd love to stay connected and support you on your journey to digital serenity.
And as always, we welcome your feedback. Leave us a comment and let us know what you thought of this episode and what other productivity challenges you'd like us to tackle in future deep dives. Until next time, stay productive and stay well.